We've gone after gifts. We've gone after this. We've gone after that because the supernatural was done. But brother, don't seek gifts. Don't seek favor with denomination. You imagine putting that in the same sentence. Seek the love of God. Do it, brethren. Now, Brother Donny, are you saying then that we should not absolutely have no gifts? No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying there's a proper order by which we seek them. I believe if we would have perfect love would produce perfect gifts. As a matter of fact, I just quoted to you a quote. I didn't give you the city and the date. But perfect love would produce perfect gifts. So what then will we have if we have imperfect love? 9 times out of 10, imperfect gifts, which the prophet said can be questioned, which will cause problems. Now that couldn't be in a regular meeting, you know that, the gifts. Now to be sure that it's of God, because if it's just foolishness, it ain't of God. You mean to tell me there could be tongues and interpretation and even so-called discerning of spirits that would be nothing but foolishness? Boy, Brother Donny, that's scary stuff. I know it's scary. It's scary both ways. It's scary to call something foolish that's God. It's just as scary to call something God that's foolishness. Right, Brother Rob? Oh my goodness. If it doesn't come to pass, it's not of God. It's got to come to pass, and therefore in our churches, oh no, oh no, oh no, not just in my church, but in our churches. Who's here? Question answer 61. Message preachers. Message churches. Oh my goodness. So Brother Branham intended for this to be more than 8th and Penn Street. Oh no, how terrible, how traumatic. That's not the way I look at it. I look at it as keeping demons out of our ranks. But Brother Donny, what if it don't happen but 4 or 5 times a year by putting them back there? I'd rather for it to be real and be 4 or 5 times a year than every time we come to church and it be nothing but flesh. Because it's only a matter of time that an evil spirit will start saying things. Initially, it'll start out, you can't really pinpoint it. Initially, nothing that you can really say is really missing it. So generic. Demons know how to be generic. Remember, each demon has its own personality. All of them have it blended in that personality, an element of genericism, where they can remain very neutral. Remember, they're the kings of deceivers. They know better than to give the very first one to be so far out and so false, nobody else would even want to hear it anymore. So what do? It's very generic. And remember, you are dealing with beings that know how to say things in such a way that you can't say it's right or you can't say it's wrong. Neutral. Just all neutral. And then when he gets the people caught up in it, then this will be wrong. That'll be wrong. Oh my goodness, friends. There's people in our church that have come from churches and told me just a few years ago, a man that even said under Brother Branham himself, and yet people getting up and speaking in tongues and prophesying and telling them, you've got married the wrong person. You need to leave your husband. You need to leave your wife. Telling people to cut their hair. You cannot believe all the nonsense and the trash. A so-called message church of a preacher that Brother Branham calls his name on tape. That don't mean nothing. Come on. But it starts out, oh yes, generic. As I said, I'd rather have it 5 times a year and it be right than every service. Hit, miss, hit, miss. And a lot of it ain't prophecy in the first place. Brother Donny, how can you say that? I judge it by the Word. If it don't tell you what you prayed, if it don't tell you what you was thinking about, if it don't tell you things that's going to be, forget it. I said forget it. Harry and I knew a woman, Carol knew her well as well. An angel of God walked into her room one night, handed her a Bible, and told her she was called to preach. She didn't even know where the Bible come from. It was not her Bible. It was not her husband's Bible. They'd never even seen the Bible. And I say angel of God in the sense that it was a created angel of God in the beginning, which sold his birthright and become a demon. And this woman started preaching because an angel appeared into her room and called her to preach. Ooh, thank God for mercy. Don't you love him with all your heart? How many wants the real? Me too. But as I was communicating with a brother today from another state, and he had a relative in his family that was dying. And he told me today that several famous message preachers told him several things concerning this relative, and every one of them was wrong. Even a member of Brother Branham's family gave him a cloth, a blanket, to take and lay on this individual, and told him that if he'd lay that on him, pray for him, they'd be well. But they died. I felt so sorry for the brother, and I apologized to him in the text, because I could just hear it. Even though it was words, I could hear his hurt, and I could feel his pain, because I know the disappointment that I had. And even though we try our best to spare message people of the same disappointment, some of them are going headlong right into it, and I've done seen it. Some of them are going to be so stubborn and so hard-headed, they will not stop until they make the awfulest mess that ever was. And there'll have to be public acknowledgement. There'll have to be public shame and humiliation. And there'll be an element of people that'll be hurt and scarred. And then the preacher's going to have to answer for it. All because we step over the teaching of this word. Forgive us, human beings, for our hard-headed ways, our stubbornness. Forgive us, Lord. How many of you tonight love him with all your heart? You want God to help you. Maybe some of you feel like you're gifted in your life. Well, I'll tell you, what you want to do is check your motive, your objective. If you'll listen to a little simple tape, very simple but very profound at the same time, called Discernment of Spirit in 1960. It'll unveil a lot about motive and objective, and of people that are gifted, and what you can look for and what you can watch about people.